You're listening to Heart Podcast with Lina Kevlani. Artezaar.com, online art gallery.
Hey, welcome to the Heart Podcast. I'm Lina Kevlani from Artezaar.com, online art gallery. This is a show of creative possibilities. And today, hopefully, I hope, you will leave with a lot of creative possibilities for yourself to explore. I have a very, very special guest today. And please welcome on the show, Mr. Rajeev Daswani. How are you doing?
I am so well. Thank you for having me here. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to have you. So Rajeev he has a dual role. He is the CEO of his own company, but at the same time, he's the CEO of AHCC, which is a happiness coaching center, which has tools, well-being programs, as well as coaches. And it's a well-being platform where they are constantly helping everyone discover themselves more and more. And we'll get into this. But first, Rajeev, how did you, from your engineering background, how did you go about establishing this beautiful well-being platform?
What a beautiful question. So, as you introduced me, you said he has this company and he has, both are my companies.
Yes, both are your babies.
Both are my babies, right? So that's kind of the fun here.
And he has two sons as well.
And I have two babies as well. So there's a lot of babies in my life. But the good news here is that, the way you always look at the world, Lina, and when you hear about organizations, you hear about the journey of people and how they experience organizations, right? You hear it sometimes from the bottom up, right? This company's like this company's like that. But you very rarely hear it from the CEO's side. And no one ever talks about how lonely it is up there, When you create something new, it's something that comes from the heart. It's a little baby. You love it. You love everything. You roll up your sleeves. You do everything.
Yeah.
You do it with so much passion.
Right.
There's so much love. And as it grows, you add different verticals. You add different people to this journey. And you hope that they bring the same love. Fair? And as things grow, and this is all the organizations in the world that have grown into these huge corporations.
Right.
It all started from someone's dream. It all started from a seed that was planted, a purpose somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. But along the way, process takes over, and somewhere, someone lost that message. And then we wonder why so many people are disengaged at work, etc., right? So when I had my engineering company, I still have it. It's still something I love very much, but it taught me so much. And it taught me that we can bring love into workspace, right? As a CEO, it's okay to say, I don't know. Being vulnerable is great. It's not just a hashtag word anymore. It's a word that actually means something.
Right.
It's okay to say, you know what? I believe in all of you. I believe in my vision, and I love what I do. And I'm proud to love at work as much as I am at home. Does that make sense?
Right.
And that's why I thought it was imperative when I saw horrifying statistics around the world where disengagement was so high, trust was one of the biggest threats people thought at work, all these silo effects. I said, well, you know what? There's a lot of ticking boxes. Why not, bring in an organization that can hold the space? See, Lina, how do you hold the space for someone? If you turn on YouTube, you turn on all these different media platforms, there's so many videos and experts telling us different things, right? I reached a point in my personal life where I felt I was doing everything wrong. I mean, in fact, if you want to brush your teeth right, you watch a video and someone tells you, hey, you're holding the toothbrush wrong, right?
Right.
It took away some of our own intelligence.
Right.
And I was going, okay, there's only so much information out there that when you filter everything out, I felt like I knew nothing, right? It took my power away. And that's when I realized that there was a gap somewhere, is that if there's so many experts out there and everyone's doing everything wrong, then do we not know how to live or what's going on? So in my journey of coaching, in my journey of holding the space, what I realized is if you empower others and you give others the opportunity to do it their way, right? And they solution what's the best way that works for them, it's their truth, Lina. You know what I'm saying?
That is so true.
So in other words, maybe you have a way that works for you, but isn't it amazing to, have your own way that works for yourself?
Right. And something else will work beautifully for someone else.
Absolutely. And both can be right.
Yes, and both can give different results.
Exactly my thoughts.
That reminds me, when I was in the corporate world, and I grew very fast. I'm not going to, shy away from that. I did grow very fast. And I had a lot of people on my team at one point. And I had this amazing young gentleman called Nihar. We very lovingly called him Curly because of his hair. And, I would be saying, okay, guys, we need to do it like this, because you had tasks to do. You had things to achieve. There was nothing wrong. I mean, it had results proven, to be honest. And he'd be like, Leans, what if we do it this way? I'm like, now he's thrown me off, right? Because now he's put me somewhere where I'm like, I don't know. I'm in a very vulnerable scenario there. And I'd be like, I don't know, Nihar. He goes, do you want to give it a shot? And I'm like sitting and thinking, what's the worst that could happen? We can always apply whatever we knew, but let him give it a shot. And I promise you, he would achieve the task in half the amount of time, and he would still have time to go home and have fun. And I it would blow my mind, because I'd be sitting and thinking I was doing it, yes, the right way, but the longer way, because I was taught the longer way. But he found a shortcut, and it still works. And I think from there, he really blew my mind open to be more open to listening to others, because my way worked for a certain period of time. As soon as technology started growing, as soon as other things started coming in, things changed.
Right.
And you need to, the moving parts, as you very rightfully said, we need to start embracing all the moving parts, including the new parts.
And that's called being able to adapt. So when you asked me, how did you make this transition? Why was it important? It's because I firmly believe that transformation requires accountability. You have to own your own journey. And that's why what we've done with well-being and this well-being space, the platform, is to have all kinds of experts, program partners, some of the most loving people that I've encountered, I've worked with. I know how special they are with what they've done, because they really believe in it. They love it and they've refined it. And had them available so that they can collaborate, they can hold a space when someone needs it. And I've also realized, Lina, that, it's not you try this and then you try that and you try the other. I think as humans, we have to realize we are holistic. We need a piece of everything. Sometimes you may be having a requirement with, resilience. You may need to take care of your mental health. And you may need to work with someone to help you build that. But at the same time, you have to make strategic decisions. You may have to work with someone to help you with that.
Right.
At the same time, you may feel you need a little more happiness in your life. You may want to do some more of that. So who are we to decide this is the journey? Why not you drive it? So what if we create a platform that allowed everybody to take what they need when they need it, as opposed to you can only get this and you get it this way? I don't believe in that anymore. I don't believe that you can only do this and you do it this way. I believe that you can experience everything if you are driving and you're taking control. And that's what you're telling me today. With even when you were in your journey, someone brought a fresh idea. You had to adapt.
I had to, yes.
But being vulnerable enough to adapt gave you the opportunity to see something new.
Or even vulnerable enough to ask for help.
Absolutely.
When I started Artezaar, yes, I was a director who had a team of God knows how many people, but I had never rolled up my sleeves and done the dirty work on Google.
Fair.
I had a team that did it. I knew the direction, I knew what I wanted to achieve, but the actual nitty-gritties was done by my team. Right? So when I was doing it and I started off, I literally went up to them and I'm like, dudes, can you teach me? They're like, come here. Come here. Mama, come here. Let's teach you. Bacha will teach you. I'm like, come. And they taught me everything they knew. And I was so proud of them. But I guess, when I look back, I had to be open.
Absolutely.
And not just sit there saying, I know it all.
And that's the thing. You see, when you ask me, what is it to be an expert, or what is it to, when people say, we know this or we know it all. The truth is, you can never know it all. You continue to grow. You continue to take different aspects. And if you think about it, it's got so many different, the color comes from your experiences, your life, everything put together that then paints a picture.
True.
So no two people will have the same experience exactly the same way. So their truth will switch somewhere. Will be different, in a different variation, right?
I agree.
So it's like you said, it's then rolling up your sleeves and trying things out, and then understanding that, when something's important to you, when something is connected to a bigger thing. That's why I always talk about purpose. If something's connected to something that fulfills you, then it's okay doing it and falling flat on your face because you have the resilience to get back up.
And learn again. I agree on that. And, I think COVID played a huge part because we as individuals, all of a sudden, our way of working changed. We had to be available constantly. We were online constantly. We had kids running in the background. We had, no help happening, nothing happened. I mean, people went through a tough time.
Absolutely.
That took a mental, physical, emotional toll.
Absolutely, it did. And Nina, let me add to that. There's two sides to this. One is that we started realizing how many things in our life we took for granted. One is we also realized that the most important things or important people in our lives were either with us at that point in time, if you're fortunate to live with your family here,
right?
Or maybe they were somewhere else and you wish you were with them. And you start realizing how much of our life was on robotic, autoplay or robotic before COVID. And people really started to ask deeper questions. One of the most amazing things that I experienced was the conversations got deeper in COVID.
I agree on that.
People went to their heart more. Vulnerability was something which we all shared in common. It was a beautiful space to come in because suddenly the egos that were blocking this were dropping because guess what? Everyone was vulnerable, right? But what it taught me that given the opportunity for a man to go to his heart, he brings a lot of things that unites everyone. So coming back to what we're doing is it took a aha moment for us to take, that forced moment for us to start realizing, wait, what's important for us? That means we have the ability to do that if we stop living robotically.
Yeah, if we stopped running.
Right? So what does it take? So what did I decide? I decided, what if we were able to bring a mirror? Not a physical mirror.
Yeah.
But personal development tools that allow you to introspect, to see how you show up, to then see how others show up and how you show up in others, and expand this journey for you. So see what you see what you don't see. No one telling you anything, but you taking your own journey, seeing why other people see things differently. The perspective has switched, but seeing it from their side for once. When I saw this, the outcome of this, I realized that when people introspect like we did in COVID,
right,
they start to become accountable for this transformation. Then you add all the different elements. Where do I need to go? How do I go there? Do I need to work with a coach? Do I need to put a well-being program on there? What am I trying to achieve? Purpose, everyone's like, purpose is so unachievable. What is it? Purpose is not unachievable. It defines why you wake up every morning and why you do what you do. It doesn't make a difference if you believe it or not. It is really the reason why you're doing what you're doing. But then the question is, how do you move purpose into action? And that's when you start to connect with something, right? But then everything is connected. Your purpose into action moves yourself into your values. Are your values being honored? Is this important to you? Because all of us have values that are important to us.
Right.
Right? Now imagine this. Are you aware of them? Are you aware of those values? Moving values into action through your behaviors. Are you aware of that? How do you know how people see or receive it? You see, it's such a beautiful dance, Lena. When people talk about well-being, a lot of times it's taking one or two of those things. They're not looking at it as a holistic thing.
Because for me, well-being, I might be experiencing anger, but my anger, where I think it's coming from, is actually not what it's coming from. That's just the top layer. And the more I have experienced well-being is, as you very rightfully said, I have to introspect and see the real truth.
Absolutely.
What is triggering that anger in me?
So let's separate one thing it's actually a great point you brought up. Expression of emotion. Mm-hmm. It's just energy moving.
Right.
So feel the emotion, obviously. Angry, be angry. Right? I mean,
honor the anger.
Absolutely, be angry. It's okay. But, in hindsight, what caused it? Start to manage it. So that's when you start to respond it, right? And these are things everyone knows, so I won't elaborate. But the most important step, I think, in the journey of well-being is to first accept that we are all holistic, that we are a circle. We're not just at different points. So, for example, if you're a leader or a top of your company and you make decisions, yes, I agree. Having coaches on your strategic and leadership policies, all this is important. And of course, yes, you need for that. I don't deny that. But you're still human, You still have a personal life.
True.
I'm assuming you also have a spiritual side to you that you want to tap into. You also have, an emotional side that you want to look into. You still have behaviors in a good day and a bad day.
Oh, yeah?
Not knowing them takes away from you. You see, Lina, when I started on this journey and I started to realize, oh my God, there's a tool that helps me understand my values. Well, what are my values? Wait a second. This is so important to me. But people don't want to see this value. They want to see this value too. How come I'm not showing that value? It started to bring light to things that I thought I was taking for granted. I'll share something really interesting.
Please.
When I did this for my organization, my engineering company, there was one interesting value that popped up for all of us. When we did this assessment, and I love it. It's the Barrett's assessment. We also use it at HCC, and we work with clients on it as well. And it's amazing because it's a everyone talks about culture alignment, but this was so brilliant, Lina. I did my value assessment. There was top 10 values of mine that was so important. We did that for all our people, and it became our present values that were showing up in the organization, right? So some of our personal and the present ones, all of us together were bringing some values. But then there was something really miraculous. There was a desired set of values that everyone wanted together that would design how we'd all feel ourselves at work.
Right.
One of the values which I found really amazing was family. For all of us, it was really important. And I tried to understand it, and I asked myself, how do you see it? How do I see it? How does everyone see it? And we had different explanations of what it meant. So we had to then adopt which one is going to be the one that we all bring to the table. How do we bring 8 or 10 different explanations in this room? And the funny thing was, when we actually broke it down and spoke about it openly, I realized that it was about the different dimensions of the word.
What
Treat
family
each other
meant.
like family. Prioritize family. Don't only make this about work. There were so many nuances and depth to it. And just by me, as the CEO of that organization, understanding what it meant, it changed the dynamics of how I approach things.
Nice.
And I saw the difference. I just saw it. The magic was crystal to me. I was blown away. It wasn't a huge shift for me. It was just not in my awareness. Even the words. I'll give you an example. Hey sis, you got it? It's that one word.
True.
Switched the way it was being received in that place, because we're family.
Right.
It's okay. You got it. It's just that little nuance of things was changing the way people were receiving things. And I was like, oh my God, that's how powerful it really is when you start to align things. Another example for you is I have this tool called the Mapstel.
Yeah, I've been on that
behavior
one.
maps. You've
Yes,
been on
I've been on it.
Lina, let me ask you, I turned this on you. You walked on this, and this is for people who don't know this is a 3 meter by 3 meter.
This is a 3 meter by 3 meter. It's
behavior map.
Massive map. And it has, I don't know, like a world map, but like islands.
We call it the world of difference.
The world of difference.
And it's off the disk. It's off the disk model. And it's you get on this map. But what it tells you, Lina, as you remember, is that everybody walks around everywhere.
Right.
Right? But for the first time, you could see yourself, right? Lina, tell me. You could see yourself, where you're standing and how you're showing up.
I was. And, there were certain elements that I thought, which is really cool, about myself. But as I moved around the map, I actually went to a different area.
Yes.
Because I had changed as a human, as a boss, as a director, how I show up for Artezaar versus what I used to believe and I thought I was. And what was amazing, and I was telling this to Rajeev, I said, because as an entrepreneur, as a small business, you tend to do everything. You need to learn skills. And I could see elements everywhere. And there were certain areas I was trying to tap into, certain areas I couldn't tap into because there was no bridge. And it was so And I have to explain, I think the word bridge meant for me on the map is I would like to get this element into my business, but I'm standing on the opposite side. And I was trying so hard, but I wasn't bridging the gap of how to get there.
Can I color it a little more?
Yes, please, go for it now.
What I love about the way you explained it is, think of the world the way it is today.
Right.
You're stepping on a space where you are right now. What stops you from moving? Your desire to move?
Mm-hmm. Fear?
The fear. What you don't see on the other side.
Right.
This is what the world is. And what they've done with this map is you're standing in front of you with all the different behaviors in the world. You have a choice. You take the step towards it where you need to go.
Right.
But you see, it's everyone's individual journey, Lena. Mm-hmm. This is what took it away. Why I love this tool is I call it a living tool for a reason. If you're a facilitator, a therapist, a coach, an entrepreneur, a student, a parent, a human, or
anybody,
whatever,
pretty much,
you can actually get on this map and you can better understand how you map your journey, where you go. You are in control, nobody else. So when coaches say to me, this is the way we work, I said, well, why don't you look at something like this as a base layer for yourself? Because then your client decides the journey, where they need to go. And based on where they're going, you ask the right questions. If you're a therapist, whatever you're just resolving, you have another opportunity here because you can see the client where they need to go. You know, if you're a student, you can see the expectations your parents have based on where they're standing. And your parents can see you based on where you're standing. And they can see your world. That's why it's called the world of difference, Lena.
And I love it because, I know I was on the map alone. But if you are a team with a CEO and with a director, a senior manager, a manager, and, there are days that we don't get through to each other. On the map, if you position yourself, you actually start to understand.
Of course, that's the beauty.
It's the beauty of the map because you start to see where that person is coming from, what their characteristics are playing into, and then he starts to see where you're standing on the map because we're not all standing in the same place.
And why I love what you just said is because look at this from a little wider picture. That's life, isn't it?
Right.
We have so many different dimensions to it, like I spoke earlier. And that's why I said, when you start to use a living tool like this, you can use it for many things, not just behaviors. Mm-hmm. So you can use it for purpose, for values, for emotion, intelligence, for, NLP if you need to. I mean, there's so many different dimensions you can bring because it's up to then the facilitator and the client to decide what goes next and where it goes. That's what I love about it. It's that who's in control. The person standing on the map. Lena, you saw that.
I saw that. I was in control because I came in thinking da-da-da, and then he's like, okay, go on the map.
Exactly.
And it blew me, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, because you're sitting there going, no, I'm like this, I'm like that. I'm okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you are, maybe you're not. I kept it neutral for you. Because when we say I am, means we know all our dimensions. But when you get on there, certain things come up for you.
Right.
And as you ask deeper questions, you start to ask, and these deeper questions ask you to reflect. And then something else comes up for you. Maybe you take a step to the right, maybe you take a step to the left, right? This is what we're doing at our platform.
I love it. I love, and you have to all experience Mapstel. I'm leaving a link below on Mapstel, on AHCC as well, a Happiness Coaching Center. Go through it, guys, because it doesn't mean these well-being platforms are only catering to massive organizations and all. It doesn't. The change begins with us.
Absolutely.
The one human. It could be with your executive. It could be with your parent. It could be with your child. But if we don't understand each other,
absolutely,
and don't see where we're coming from, we're constantly at odds.
And I wanted to add one dimension to this because, everything has become if/or, right? And what has the world taught us post-COVID is hybrid works. So there is actually a physical space called HCC. We've had a few community events now where people come and talk and share and discuss. You see, this is the world we live in today is having these open conversations, Lena, experiencing the gift that each of us bring to this world, opening up our hearts and learning with sincerity from each other.
Right.
Understanding that expertise is just an expression. and having each other's expression and learning from each other. Well, Leena, you'll be speaking very soon with your Artezaar.
Right.
Art. By the way, we have some programs coming together. It'll be fun to have you share that with the clients coming forward. But the physicality of it and the platform impact has just brought multiple dimensions to the way people can experience well-being. They can own it now. So if you're doing coaching, you can come one-on-one and experience that. If you're working with organizations, they can step on the maps physically as well. So
Right.
physicality is also important.
Yeah, the map I think blew me because, as I said, I did the questionnaire much later. He sent me the questionnaire later, but when I went
earlier, you did it later.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
sent it to me earlier. I didn't do it. I landed up and I just went on the map, and I was like, oh, where am I now? So I actually did it the other way. Typical Leena has to be crazy. But it blew my mind because, as very rightfully said, I came in with perceptions. I came in with I am, and I wasn't.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, is that when we understand that transformation works when you have accountability, when you own that journey, there is no limits. You can start to recreate.
And I think what's beautiful is, the power lies in us. It's not a set thing or a set menu that works for you and for me.
Exactly.
Because we're in such different places, we have such different experiences. What you go through with your family.
What you just said right now, Leena, is gold. If everyone understood that, that's where we would have actually said, okay, we are all going to create impact. We are, because all of us are here. See, I had a talk the other day, and they were talking about, why is this important? I said, because if we can transform accountably and we can start to work towards who we want to be, we can create positive impact in this world. Ultimately, that is what counts. To be yourself, to be authentically you, so you can create positive impact. So years back, when they look back at us and they say, hey, you did count.
Yes.
The secret is that everyone counts.
Everyone counts. Every little one counts.
The problem is that people are so focused on celebrating those that make the loudest noise. But if you celebrate yourself from holding yourself accountable and living the word, with impact, can you imagine how much noise will be created by every small little action that people do?
Everybody. And I'll give you an example. I don't know if I've ever told you this. I had a child come to my class.
Okay.
Last year. He was 5. Won't name the child. Very, very quiet, introvert, didn't speak, extremely, extremely shy, right? Somehow he loves colors. Mom told me, I'm going to bring him in, but can you do a one-on-one, because I don't know how, he's not comfortable adjusting to new people.
Okay.
I said, great, not a problem. Comes in. Took me about 10 minutes to get a word out of him.
Wow.
And I said, what do you want to paint? What do you want to paint? Look, I have all these colors. So he went through a phase of observation first. Who are you, woman? Oh, you have colors. Oh, you have paints. And I left it up to him, and he goes, I want to paint Burj Khalifa. Like, that's how his voice came out. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And, then he would ask me, what color is the road? I'm like, any color you want it to be. Okay, can I make it red? I said, yes.
There's no
Your
limits.
road.
There's no limits.
It's not mine. And he did a small painting at the end of it to cut the story short. He woke up the next morning. He's taken the painting to class. They've put it up on a projector. And his mom sent me the video from school, which his teacher recorded. He has stood up for the first time and explained to his class and presented the painting. And when people questioned him why his tree was blue or red, he answered it. I think I had tears running down my eyes at that point, because I realized he broke through somewhere. It became about him.
It was all about him.
It was all about him. And today, he participated in exhibitions. He mixes with anybody. It doesn't matter who comes to class. He makes new friends. And I did that 1 year of change has come through.
So what am I hearing is that you held the space. You allowed vulnerability to come through.
At his space.
You created a safe space.
But it had to be at his space.
Absolutely. But allowing that wall to come down enabled him to.
Yes, and I think I was
express
the
himself.
most grateful at that point. I was so grateful that he could trust me.
So here's the question. That's the $1 million word. But here's the question. Can we create that safe space? Can we create a space of expression, as you say? And the answer is yes.
Yes, especially in corporates.
By showing up with authenticity, allowing for those masks to fall. But it's easy to say, but how do you get there? And that's why we do what we do, is because if we can help you bring down those masks at your own pace as you discover yourself through introspection, through having these tools, working with your coaches, finding what you need to nurture on, you start to uncover who you are, what you're here to do, and why it's important. And most ultimately, find your voice, Lena.
Yeah, finding your voice. He found a voice. I was so blessed. I mean, when I saw him at the exhibition, pointing at his painting and explaining it in his shy voice, I knew he had a voice now. Like, he's amongst 50, 60, 70 people.
Right.
This little kid has stood up.
It's beautiful.
And I think I was so grateful. And I was telling his mom that. I said, man, I just feel so grateful. I feel so blessed that he's doing that today. And there's such a change in him. Because at an organization level, we block the younger ones from speaking up.
Well said.
And if we allow those younger ones to come out, the amount of knowledge they carry.
Absolutely. But let's hold one neutral space for a second and say, many people don't realize that they may be blocking. Yes,
I agree.
So
I've been guilty of that.
Absolutely. So I want to create the space of safety to say it's about becoming conscious. Become a conscious leader as you are a conscious person. So, okay, maybe you don't know you're doing it. Fine. Learn. See the beauty in the process and then uncover a new way of
allowing.
Allowing voice.
Even for the younger ones, allow the voice of experience to come through from the older ones.
Absolutely.
It's such a two-way process.
It is.
And a beautiful growth in each one of us.
And I think that's why we have to realize that it's not either or. Every single person you meet can leave you better if you just allow for that person's expression to come through. By not judging, right? By refraining from
And that's
judging.
what Mapstel does.
That's
the beauty of Mapstel.
But like Mapstel, there's so many amazing tools that we've found.
Right.
I mean, and again, if I go far, apart from the tools, even the amazing program partners. I mean, you have to see. I feel blessed every single day when I wake up and I say, look at the program partners that we have. When we talk, these conversations you're having with me right now, I have them with every one of them now and then, and it's so inspiring. I said, if the world could listen to what these amazing people are saying and sharing, wow, where would we all be? And that's why I think, for the record, I will say that, I love the corporate space. I love it, not because of what is happening, because I really firmly believe that we have an opportunity to recreate the way we do things in a way that's more loving.
And I think COVID has taught us that.
It has, and there's a lot more to do.
Yes.
But I would just say that I love the space because I think there's an opportunity for all of us to come together. It's not one single person, but all of us come together to go to that heart space and recognize, what do I not have? To do things differently, to allow expressions now so that people can find their new voice. Have the courage to stop ticking boxes and have the courage to do something a little different, to explore, to be a little vulnerable. Look at introspecting a little. Look at humanizing your spaces so that people around you can be who they're here to be and see the magic that brings to your numbers.
Exactly, yeah? I agree.
Look at experiencing, like what you do. I love what you do. And then you and I have worked on programs that we've combined a lot of the corporate stuff, the tools with your art, because it's an expression. It's an expression of something that maybe wouldn't have been said in that particular way, but it's said through color. It's said through their art. So it's gorgeous. I'm just really honored and blessed to be on this journey right now.
That's fantastic. So we have a section, it's called Did You Know? 3 things we didn't know about you, Rajeev.
Well, let's see. I love music. Lena, I bet you didn't know this, but I love singing. I don't do it as much as I would love to. I wrote some music many years ago that I want to record.
Let's do that.
It's on my bucket list. I'm going to make this happen. So
fantastic.
That's one thing that I've been working on. What else do you not know?
Anybody?
That other people don't know. Okay, let's see. Okay, I used to be very shy. I still feel like I'm shy. Yeah, it's weird. I don't like, as much as people think, I don't like the attention as much as people think. And it's weird. So I hide that pretty well. Yeah.
That was a journey coming out of your box then, huh? Out of your shyness.
I still feel, I know it sounds really weird. The oxymoron is I still feel shy. Although I'm so connected with the message that it doesn't go there, if that makes any sense.
Nice.
When I get on stage and I speak in front of hundreds of people now, I can speak because the message is so powerful. I really believe in what I'm saying.
Very good.
But, had it been something else, maybe I wouldn't want to be there. Okay. You know what I'm trying to say, right? What else would you like to know? Apart from that, really, I used to be scared of animals before I had my first dog. I used to be scared of dogs, not animals, but dogs before, when I was very young. And then I had my first dog, and he changed my life, and he showed me what unconditional love really is. And I'm grateful for that moment because I was missing out on something so beautiful.
Very nice.
So for those people out there who have fears and phobias, it can be terrifying. And I'm not saying there's a right answer to this, but to me personally, I will tell you, I was so scared of dogs when I was young that anytime I saw one, I didn't want to be anywhere in the vicinity. And then when we moved here, my sister insisted on getting her dog. And when she first got the dog, it was weird. It's just like anything. When you don't know something, it's so easy to be afraid of it. But when you start to see the beauty in something, the fear goes away. So I always say fear is nothing more than unrealized love. It's just give yourself the opportunity to get there. I
love that. Fear is nothing more than unrealized love.
Yeah, I really see that. I see that in my life. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Okay, you know me. I'm crazy. I'm still crazy. I haven't changed. So crazy, Lena, question time.
We are all crazy.
Yes, in our little ways. Okay, so what should I ask you? If there was one thing... Okay, if there was a superpower you had, which one would it be?
There was a superpower I had or I have?
Let's do both then.
Okay, so I firmly believe that everyone can come from the space of love.
Why did I not know this?
And I firmly believe that it's just allowing people to get away from that headspace and making it safe for them to get to the heart space. I believe that we all have that power. We all have that superpower, Lena. It's just that maybe we're busy, maybe we're scared, maybe we've been hurt, so we think that, or maybe we define love in a different way. Maybe people are looking at it from a very physical or emotional space. When you look at it from a space of all-encompassing, it takes it away. It takes it away to a different level. You meet people at a very beautiful level. And everything in life can be met that way. Everything in life can be met that way. To me, that keeps on teaching me.
Very nice. And with that beautiful thought, thank you so much, Rajeev. Thank you for coming here, sharing all your experiences. Thank you for these wonderful words of wisdom. Guys, I'm leaving all the links below. Feel free to connect with him. All his Instagram, everything is there. Just feel free, connect. And let's start spreading this joy of love, all-encompassing love. And add some color and craziness to your life. Let's do that. Let's spread that joy. And with that note, thank you, everyone. I'll see you on the next episode of Heart to Heart. This is Lena signing off.
Thank you very much, Lena. And thank you all for being here with us.
Thank you.